Good day, Deep and Word family. Welcome to day 73 of our Bible study review. Today we are closing the book of Joshua. Can you believe it? This is happening so fast. So today's chapters are 22 through 24, and then we will start the book of Judges tomorrow. As we open up chapter 22, we see that Joshua is giving the permission for the Reubenites, the Gadites, and the half-tribe of Manasseh to go back to the territory beyond the Jordan River on the east side. Joshua tells them, you have done well, just as you promised to Moses that you would go over, cross over, make war, push out the enemy, and then you can go back and have this territory beyond the Jordan. He says, since you have been faithful in your word, he goes, now you can go back and settle in those lands. So these 2.5 tribes, the tribe of Reuben, Gad, and the half tribe of Manasseh, they go back to their lands, right? But they built an altar. And the children of Israel on the west side of the Jordan hear about them building an altar. Now the Heavenly Father told them, do not build an altar, do not sacrifice outside of the place that I tell you to sacrifice. So this stirs up trouble within the tribes of Israel. And so the children of Israel go to confront these 2.5 tribes. And the children of Israel also bring a priest, as that is the command. The priest is to judge the weightier matters. So the son of Eleazar, Phinehas, goes, and there's also tribesmen from all of the tribes of Israel who go and confront them. And this is what they say. This is in the middle of verse 16. Today you have turned from following Yahuwah by building yourselves an altar to rebel against him. Verse 19. If indeed your own land is unclean, then cross over to the land of Yahuwah, where the tabernacle of Yahuwah stands, and take land among us. Do not rebel against him. And they said, do not rebel against us by doing this, for Yahuwah will be mad at all of the tribes if you commit this wickedness. Again, altars are for sacrifice. Now, these 2.5 tribes are not joined with their brothers on the other side. So it looks as if they're about to sacrifice to another god. That's what this looks like, and this is the major concern. And this is the response of the 2.5 tribes on the other side of the Jordan, on the east side. Verse 24. We did this deed because we were worried that in the future your descendants might say, what have you to do with Yahuwah Elohim of Israel? Yahuwah made the Jordan a boundary between us and you, the descendants of Reuben and Gad. You have no share in Yahuwah. So they essentially said, we built this altar as a memorial, not to offer sacrifices, but to be a witness that we are also of the tribes of Israel. And although we may not be in the main part of the land of Canaan, we are still part of this inheritance. And so the son of the high priest, Phinehas, and all of the children of Israel on the west coast of the Jordan were satisfied with this answer. And they said, you have done well by not bringing sin upon all of the children of Israel. So they bring this report back to those on the west coast, and all is well. The chapter ends and it says that these stones are called a witness. Chapter 23 opens up and it tells you that Joshua is well advanced in years. And so he feels provoked to tell the children of Israel. He says, look, I'm getting older in years and I want you to recognize the reason why you have had success. And the reason why one of you can chase down 1,000 men is because Yahuwah, your Elohim, goes before you to fight your battles. And so he charges the leaders of Israel. And this is what he says. Verses 6 and 7. Now be very strong and observe and enact all that is written in the book of the law of Moshe, so that you do not deviate from it to the left or to the right. Do not assimilate with these peoples remaining among you. Do not invoke the names of their gods, nor swear by, serve, or worship them. Instead, cling to Yahuwah your Elohim as you have done until this day. Most people don't understand the severity of calling on other deities, right? Which we know are demons. But that's the revelation that we need to have about knowing the name of our God. I know that within religious circles, most people have an issue with those who call upon the name of their God. But we are called to call upon the name of our God. Israel, when they were in Egypt, they called upon the name of Yahuwah. Some people say Yahuwah, some people say Yahweh. But they knew the name of their God, and they called upon him, and he showed up and he delivered them. But see, the same is true when you call upon the name of a false deity, aka demon. When you call on them, they make a demand, make a sacrifice in order to answer you. How does this translate for us in modern day? Now, do people still make idols? Yes, you see them in churches. Unfortunately, idol worship is still going on in the house of God. He hates it. He absolutely hates it. But what does this translate? How can this translate for us? We're not to have idols. We should call upon him, not call upon the bottle, not call upon our friends, not call upon anything else. Anything else that we run to deliver us from a situation, we have made an idol. We have called upon that thing to deliver us, and it is a false God. It will never, ever deliver. It will make us fall further and further away from salvation. We only receive salvation when we call upon the name above all names. Within this renewed covenant, y'all, there's no way to the Father except through the Son, and we can call upon the name above all names, and he will hear us. The Father is almighty judge, but our Messiah is our lawyer. He is our advocate. So long as we call upon his name and his blood is truly sealed over us, we're truly in covenant with him, he hears our prayers, and he is mighty to deliver. So Joshua warns them. He says, if you intermarry with these people, you make covenants, you give your daughters and your sons up, and you start mixing with these people. Again, this is not about ethnicity. This is about other peoples who serve other gods. There's only one God. They're serving demons. And he says, if you assimilate with these people and you turn your face from your God, he says he will no longer drive them out from among you. He says these people will become a snare to you, and everything that you basically saw happen to the Egyptians will happen to you. Chapter 24 is Joshua preparing for his departure, and the same thing that happened with Moses before Moses knew he was going to go sleep to go be with his fathers. Now we see Joshua is doing something very similar. So he's calling all of the tribesmen, the elders, everyone to Shechem, and he is making a covenant, and he's writing this covenant within the book. And he tells them the full story again, much like Moses did. He says, your forefather, Terah is the father of Abraham. He says, our God took Abraham out from beyond the Euphrates River. He took him out from serving other gods. Again, if you go back, y'all, Abram, before he was named Abraham, Abram was a Babylonian. He was from the land of the Chaldeans. Do you not see that the Father is calling everyone out of Babylon? You'll see this at the very end. What are we all being called out of? Babylon. It's the world's system. The world's system is satanic. Just like he called Abraham out, he's calling all of us out. And Joshua is reminding them where they came from. Your forefathers came from serving other gods, but the one true God called out your forefather, your father Abraham, and he promised him in this land that we're in right now, the land of Canaan, is where Yahuwah Elohim made a promise to him that he would multiply his seed and bring him back here. So he goes through their story again and reminds them where they came from and how much they have been delivered from and how they are now living in the promise that was promised to Abraham. And Joshua provokes them. He says, you aren't able to serve this God. He is a jealous God. And they said, no, we are able and we will be faithful to him. And he says, you have spoken a witness against yourself. And he wrote those words down, the words of their testimony to be faithful to him in the book of the law. We need to be aware that every word we speak and every agreement that we make is being recorded in books in the heavenlies. Not only is the Heavenly Father listening for our words, but so is the father of lies. And if we speak a word and that word is in agreement with righteousness or lawlessness, that word is recorded, and it is now a legal right for either the Father of light to come in and make his kingdom known, or the father of darkness to come in and use you as a vessel. This is not a joke. This is why Joshua recorded their words in the book. We need to understand and know this. Everything that you agree with can and will be used against you, or it will be used for your benefit. After Joshua records all of their words of their testimony in a book, he then goes to fall asleep. He dies in the land of his inheritance. And it says that that generation that was standing with him worshipped Yahuwah Elohim all of their days. It also ends telling us that the bones of Joseph are now buried in the land of Shechem. You can find this in Genesis chapter 49 when Joseph makes his brothers promise to not bury his bones in Egypt, but to bury it in the land of his upbringing. So this is finally when it takes place. The The chapter ends telling us that Eleazar, the son of Aaron, who is the high priest of this generation, he finally dies and his body is laid to rest in the land of Ephraim. Well, Deep in Word family, you've done it again. You've read another book and we're closing it out. Pat yourself on the back, but don't get too comfortable because we're opening up a new book tomorrow, the book of Judges. That's all that I have for you today. Until tomorrow, Yah bless.